race, but I forgot to do the intro before. I was so excited because I was the first one in the car, so you'll see that now. But today's the real race day. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's already been a hell of a day. We're having a great time. I think the most fun thing for me is the fact that I have a radio inside my ear, and it just makes me feel like Lewis Hamilton. So, having a great time. Catch ya. Here we are on the other side of the grid, getting ready for the Le Mans style start. We see the flag go, we sprint across the track and jump in the 51 car, which is going to be our car for the full 12-hour event. There are 3 classes in this race. There is my class, which is the sport class, the S2 class, the super sport class, which is the one above us. And the difference between those 2 classes is the super sport class is supposed to be faster, and their carts don't have tape denoting the ballast tube. So any of the cars that you see that have the orange tape are my class, and any of the cars you see that don't are not. And then you'll also see a 3rd class, which is the pro class, and they are driving Briggs & Stratton LO206 carts, so they're quite a bit faster than we are. Right now we're just tucking in. I'm right here behind Bryant in the 37, and we're just going to stick it right up his inside for a clean position here on lap 1 as we're starting the race. It's a 12-hour event, and I started the race with a double stint for my team. So each one of our stints was about 20 minutes, so this first one was 40. Here we go. We're already going 2 by 2 into this unique hairpin here. This is one of the interesting and new turns for CalSpeed. This race happens every year at CalSpeed Karting, and I race the Sprint and Super Series there as well, so I'm pretty familiar with most of the corners and layouts for the racetrack, but this was new to me. And this first few laps really were really hectic, and it was just about trying to kind of slot in. It was a long race, and you really didn't want to lose it in the first 10 laps or so, certainly not in the first stint. We definitely do have some incidents in this first stint though, so hopefully we can try to minimize those. Here we can go side by side through the bypass corner, and ooh, a little bit of contact. He goes into the tire barrier. Probably my fault, solid my bad, but we don't end up getting penalized for that. And here we go, we find ourselves behind kind of a regular on the channel, Michael Chen, just for a moment, and this guy in the white helmet puts it up alongside us. And there are the pro cars. That's a good example of how much faster they are than us. They drive through us like we're parked. And we're coming through that hairpin again, side by side. Ooh, pushed me into the barrier, and that is the first piece of bad luck that we're going to experience during this race. We managed to catch back up to this group, and we're back behind Michael Chen, and we're going to come out into the wind to drive right around him. And here we go. As we come into turn 1, we managed to pull the position off, and it's time to turn forward. My pace was actually really solid all day. I was the fastest driver for my team, and I actually ended up setting the 3rd fastest time in the class by the end of the night, but we didn't really get up to our full pace until the nighttime stints. At night, the karts were running a lot better, and boy, were we going quick. We can see we're side by side with White Helmet here again. Coming into bypass, we managed to get up past his midsection here. A little bit of side-to-side contact, not a ton. Neither of us really losing out there, but he seemed to think so. He was pretty pissed about that. I thought that was a pretty clean overtake. I would do that 10 times out of 10. Let me know in the comments if you think that wasn't clean, but looked pretty clean to me. We're going to turn ahead again. We're just going to try to move through the field as quickly as we can. We can see this elite engineering driver right here on our outside for this hairpin, and we're going to try to put it up alongside him. We have a little bit of contact. And then he runs out to the barrier. Now that is going to pretty much ruin our race, that little contact right there, because as you can see, when we come past the stop and go penalty as we go over the finish line, that's not great news. Now, I have a radio in my ear, and I'm talking to my team. I'm trying to figure out, first of all, I'm trying to remember where to serve the stop and go. There's a stop box, but then we also have pits, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to come into the pits, and I'm kind of arguing with my team. I didn't even know what had caused the penalty, so we were kind of arguing back and forth, and I went like 2 or 3 laps with this flagger waving the flag at me. Boy, he was unhappy about that. So we're trying to minimize our loss here, trying to get up in front of these guys, slow them down a little bit before our stop so that we can catch back up. And we totally botched the stop, go right into the barriers. This was so embarrassing. It was my first stint. It was really not the best way to start the day, but we're going to come back out. We're not allowed to merge again until we're over these white lines. So as soon as we get back through, we're going to come back and turn back onto the track. Now it takes us a little while to catch up, and this is actually the last lap of our stint, but I find a good buddy of mine and a kind of a rival in the other series we raced, Devins Baker, and he's in the same class that I am, so I'm coming up on him and I'm trying to overtake him on track. This is a kind of a 9,000 IQ move. So we come up, we put it on his inside here, he holds it on the outside, he gets back up ahead, and then we try to take a really nice line and open it up, because I know we're going to have to go up this hill, so I want to try to get the better run up the hill. And we do, and we manage to put it up right side by side. We're actually both getting overtaken by a pro kart at the same time that this is happening, but we managed to hold it out in front of him and turn it around, and now it's time to come into the pits for the first time. So I make eye contact here with these blue stanchions, and we come in. We have to stop in between these 4 orange cones. This is the stop box, and I almost go through it, lock the brakes a little bit, almost stall the cart. It was kind of messy. We didn't have any practice for the stops, so first stop was really messy. And then this is my buddy Dustin, my teammate, and we're going to swap out of the cart. Okay, so at this point, we have served the 1 stop and go penalty that I got on the second lap, and we served the black flag 30-second stop and go penalty that we got for rolling the pit. And then the seat was loosened too much in between stints and fell off. So we had to put that back on, and then we calculated our fuel usage too accurately, and we ran out of fuel. Here, I show you. So there, you see these orange stanchion cone things? You have to stop in there before you go into the hot pit. We ran out of gas in the orange cones. So, cutting it a little too close, and it meant that we're probably not on for a super fantastic result today, but been the race of a lifetime anyway. Been so awesome, and my girlfriend's here. Like I mentioned, we had radios, and that gave us the ability to spot from the spotting tower. So while my teammates were out on track, I would head up to the spotting tower, and I'd let them know when the faster class cars were coming around, and I'd give them some tips and reminders, as well as some encouragement while we were out on track. It was maybe not as helpful as it could have been, but it was really, really cool. Felt awesome. Here we are jumping back in the 51 car. This is quite a few stints later. Like I mentioned, they were 20-minute stints, so we did quite a few. I ended up driving for 3.5 hours, so I cut most of the driving out, but this was one of my sunset stints. It was really, really cool driving as the conditions changed. I finally got to break out my clear visor, and we, as the day went on, really found our pace, and we started overtaking quite a bit. As you can see, we are overtaking pretty much everybody we come up on, and we didn't get overtaken by hardly anybody. That is until we meet Albert Ye later in the race, but that's not until after dark. So we are, right now, trying to recover. So every time we get in the car, we want to try to make overtakes, because some of our teammates were getting overtaken during their stints, so we were, in order to try to hold on to that position, it was really important for me to try to get through traffic as quickly as I could, particularly when I knew that I was faster. And because we were running average weight, it also meant that I was lighter than a lot of the other drivers on track, because I was about 135 pounds that day, and we only had about 30 pounds of ballast in the cart, because it was about bringing your average weight up to 200 pounds for the team. And that meant that I could run lightweight for quite a bit of this race, and it was awesome. It just felt so fast. There, I'm giving my team a thumbs up. I'm letting them know that I'm feeling good, and I'm ready to extend this stint. And we're coming up on a group of 3 here. I take a look at these 2 on the inside. We're going to try to take both of these 2. There's Albert. Yeah, there we get a little taste of Albert and his pace up ahead. We managed to get ahead of the one guy, but not the other one. We're tucking in right behind here. Maybe I can take it on the straight, though. Let's see if I can get a better exit. We do. We have a pretty killer exit. We're going to pull right out, and we're going to drive around this guy into turn 1. There's a pro car. That's the speed delta that they had on our class. It was really insane. I'm hoping to maybe run that class as well next year, but I certainly want to run the class that I ran this year. That's the end of our sunset stint, so we're going to come into the box here, and we're going to swap for Dustin as well. We did the same swap order every time. Yep. We are fast approaching the moment of truth. It's after 7 o'clock now. We're racing until 9:05. And we just changed our strategy to try to improve our finishing position. So we've got about 2 hours to go. And feeling stoked. Here we go. Getting back in the 51 car for the last stint of the race. I started the race with a 40-minute stint, and I ended the race with a 40-minute stint. So this is the beginning of that. This is us exiting the pits here. We can see we're going to come up behind this this Monster Energy driver up ahead of us. And as we come through bypass later in this lap, we are going to make the first overtake of certainly our fastest stint. It felt so awesome. The only thing that didn't feel awesome about driving at night was the temperature. We're going to pull right up ahead of this guy. Oh, we're going to get overtaken by a pro car again. These pro class cars were absolutely flying around all of us. Some of them had some issues. Particularly on that first lap, you saw that one pro car turn all the way around. This is Albert Ye. He overtakes us there, which was very offensive to me on the day. Like I mentioned, I wasn't getting overtaken a lot until I realized who it was, and I respect him as a driver a lot. He's really, really fast, and importantly, we have very similar pace. So I'm going to try to re-overtake him to say, hey, I'm going to be the boss of this group of two. We're going to hold him on the outside of this long sweeper here. He's going to have to tuck in behind us, but then later in the lap, and you'll notice every lap, he has a much better line through bypass, which is the last corner on the lap, and that means his exit speed onto the start-finish straight is higher than mine, which makes it really, really difficult to stay ahead of him. I'm faster through most of the rest of the lap, but he is faster over the start-finish line, so it was really, really hard to stay ahead of him. And that made me kind of decide it might be better just to stay behind him, let him pull me up that start-finish straight with the draft, and we can work together. And that's me giving him a little thumbs up as he looks behind to say, hey, we're going to work together, and I'm going to try to push you up ahead. And here we go. He points out at Ayrton Senna. And notice we got the Ayrton Senna helmet and the Ayrton Senna suit. Pretty sick, dude. Really love the outfit. And we drive right through. It was pretty cool. Every time Albert wanted to do a double overtake, he would point at the guy on the way up our hill. There he goes again, pointing at these guys, saying, all right, let's get up around. And here we go. Just a little bit later, Albert goes for it. He gets around on the straight. Like I said, he's getting those killer exits on the straight, and we pull right up here to the 59 car. I'm looking for it. Looks like we're going to get a much cleaner drive around the carousel there, and that's going to mean our exit's great. Now, there's a tire wall at the end here, so I really want to try to squeeze through. He gives me just enough room to make it. We're going to put it up his inside for the hairpin, and we're going to tuck in right behind Albert again. We're going to jump ahead a few laps. And you can see, I was mentioning the pro cars having issues earlier. You can see this guy just started his stint, and he's on very cold tires. You can see what that means. He gets around me here, but then as we go into the twin hairpins here in the middle of the track, he steers out wide and he can't get around, so we're going to overtake him again. He ends up getting back around me, but a good example of what it's like to drive the competition karts compared to the rentals. We never have issues getting the tires turned on. Maybe we do, and it costs us half a lap, but we're not pushing through corners like that. We're going to come back up to the 35 car with the pink tape on it. I'm really thinking about decorating my car with some LED lights or something next year. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. Leave them in the comments. And we're going to try to open this up so that we can get the run on the hill. Albert is already ahead of him, and I really want to get back to Albert, so we're going to open this up, and then we're going to have a much better speed here as we come up and put it alongside him for turn 4, which is not even close to turn 4 on this layout, but it's called turn 4 no matter what. We can't hold on to it, but maybe we're going to be able to get it again with the exit from bypass, and it looks like we are. We've got the run. We're going to try to open it up as much as we can, stay behind him for as long as we need to. We're going to put it side by side right at the last second for turn 1, and we pull in right behind Albert. Now, Albert is stuck behind another really fast driver called Sheng, and this is the last lap of the race. So I really, really want to get ahead of at least one of them, and I've been observing Albert's driving for a really long time. I'm hoping that he's going to try to make an overtaking move on Sheng, and that's going to allow me to jump them both, maybe. So I'm just trying to tuck in and be very, very careful to get back up to him. I've noticed that Albert has been stuck behind Sheng, who's in a higher class, and I don't think Albert wants to overtake because there's no point in doing it. It's not going to increase his finishing position because he's a class above. He's just trying to tuck in and finish the race. He doesn't realize I'm coming in so hot. So Albert tries to place his car in a good spot for an overtake here, makes a little bit of contact with Sheng, so they're both a little bit offline. What that allows me to do is I'm allowed to put it right up behind Sheng, do a little switcheroo on Albert, and I end up ahead of him. Now we're 3/4 of the way down the lap. He is chasing me up the hill, and he is going to be looking for any opportunity he can to overtake. Now I know that I need to do this on the last lap because I can't stay ahead of him the whole way down the straight. I'm just hoping I'll be able to stay ahead of him long enough to cross the finish line. Here we go. We're exiting bypass. He's right behind me, right on me, like probably a 10th. Drag race to the finish. Here we go. And we inch him out by inches, really inches. What an amazing finish, too. Such an amazing race. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. We have new videos every single Wednesday, and we're going to have a live stream tonight at 5:30. That was awesome, dude. I have never had a battle like that in my life. I was waiting. I was examining you that whole time I was following you. I was like, where am I going to get him on the last lap? I was just waiting for you because you, oh man. I don't mind. That was awesome, dude. That was great.